Hey guys, I survived Inktober. I cannot believe it, but I actually made it all 31 days of drawing. If you haven't seen any of my previous videos or you don't know what Inktober is, basically it is a 31-day drawing challenge for the month of October where you have to draw at least one drawing in ink every day for the month of October. So this video is going to be a sketchbook tour and show you the drawings that I did, and it's also going to be a review of my experience because Inktober was not an easy task. So you don't really have to make Inktober complicated, but I tend to make things a little too complicated. So for me it was really difficult. I mean, deciding to video and upload every drawing every day made it that much more challenging and time consuming. And I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I work really hard to make my drawings what I like, and so it's hard for me to do quick drawings because I'm always like, oh, maybe I can add a little bit more detail here or make it look better if I put shading there. And then next thing I know, I've spent, 2 or 3 hours on just the drawing and I still have to edit the video and upload it. So I'm not entirely sure if I will do Inktober again or not, and if I do, I may not video it. But if I do decide to video it, maybe I'll just like do one video a week or like cut it into chunks instead of creating a drawing and a video every single day, because that is a lot of work. And it kept me from doing other things that I needed to do, and some of the things I needed to get done got neglected. And I don't really want to do that again. I ended up getting behind on a lot of things. So I'll probably try to rein myself in if I do it again and try to loosen up with my drawing style and not be so complicated and time consuming. And also, of course, the video aspect is a whole other world. But basically those are just my negative feelings with Inktober this year, but my positive feelings outweigh that. I really enjoyed taking the time to draw every day. I mean, it is time consuming, but I was able to get in a lot of good practice with materials that I'm not used to using, like ink. I used a lot of different tools and materials this time. I did a lot of experimenting and it was so much fun. I used Copic pens for the first time. I used various ink washes. I even used gold ink, which was crazy. I really liked the gold ink. I used that closer towards the end, but it was a really great time and I enjoyed it. I definitely do not regret doing it. And I also loved watching every single one of you who did it as well. I may not have gotten to like or comment on all of your videos or drawings, but just know that I am watching and I have loved it. And speaking of that, I have seen every single one of you who have liked, commented, and just generally supported me during this, and I just want you to know that I am so thankful for that because it helps me to push through and draw every day. So I'm going to get into the sketchbook tour now. So I've got my sketchbook right here. The sketchbook I've used for several things before, but I put every single one of my Inktober drawings into this book this year, so that way I would have them all in one place. So I've got a bunch of things in here. But let me open it up to my Inktober drawings so that I can get this started. So, day one, the prompt was poisonous, and I drew a hooded patooey, which is one of the first discovered birds to be poisonous. I mean, it won't kill you or anything, but there is a toxin in its feathers and on its skin that will make your skin go numb or have like a burning sensation. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I wanted to do something a little bit different. And of course, poison also equals like skull. So I put in like the cliche skull in there. But yeah, I had fun drawing this guy. I was really nervous drawing him because it was my first time working in just ink in a while. Day two, the prompt was Tranquil. So I drew one of what I consider might be one of the prettiest places in Japan. And I've actually never been there. It's Hakone Shrine, and I will actually be visiting in January. And I cannot wait to take a picture of myself standing right there. I'm really excited. Yeah, this is definitely what I pictured whenever I thought of the word Tranquil, because it looks like such a beautiful place. Honestly, I'm not too proud of this one, but day three was roasted, and so I wanted to draw roasted coffee beans. So I mean, they're coffee beans, and I just wanted to kind of make an interesting composition. So I have a bunch of coffee beans, and you can see there's steam in here, and there's one in the center. He's holy or something. I don't know. Day 4 was spell, and I was like, how in the world am I gonna draw a spell? Originally, I wanted to be really snarky and draw like spelling a word or something like that. But then I ended up watching Howl's Moving Castle, and I was like, this is perfect. So I drew the spell circle. Oh my gosh. I cannot think right now of what it's actually called. But anyway, this is the spell for Move House, which he uses near the end of the movie, I think. Or maybe he's in the middle. I can't remember. I promise you I actually am a fan of this movie. And I actually know, but right now my brain is frazzled. Anyway, and here's Hal's eyes, because he's a beautiful man, y'all. His eyes are beautiful. Day 5 was chicken, and I love the way this one turned out. This is like a different take on the Rooster Teeth logo, which is an online comedy media making company, and they also are responsible for Achievement Hunter and Ruby, if you know Ruby, RWBY, and Red vs. Blue. So I decided to draw like a fun little inked up version of their logo. I love the way it turned out. And I had like 3 people from one of the Rooster Teeth groups that I'm in say they're gonna get tattoos of this. So I hope that they do, and if they do, maybe they'll let me show them to you guys. Day 6 was drooling. So I drew Psyche from The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. He loves coffee jelly. And so I just imagine this cute little picture of him drooling over some coffee jelly. And up here in Japanese, I'm pretty sure it says that he loves coffee jelly. I can't remember. I'm not very good at Japanese, so forgive me. I had a friend help me with this. But yeah, I think this turned out really cute. So the prompt for day 7 was exhausted, and I wanted to do something a little different. I know I wanted to do something including animals and try out some new stuff. So I chose to draw a bear that is exhausted from hunting, because as you can imagine, a bear out in the wild might get a little exhausted whenever he's hunting for food. So he's hunting at night, and I actually did the constellation for Ursa Major, or the Big Dipper, in the background. I really love the way this turned out, which is what inspired me to create a triple piece based on this. So that brings me back to the one that we skipped. Day 10, the prompt was actually star. So I drew an elk. So here behind the deer, I have Orion, which I read about this somewhere. It's in some part of history, it was known as a deer constellation. So I threw that in the background there, and then I started working on my 3rd piece of this series, I guess. Day 10 was precious, and I think that wolves are pretty darn precious. Well, of course they're precious because they're pretty cute, but they're also precious to the ecosystem in a lot of ways. And that's why they reintroduced them to Yellowstone, because they're vital to the ecosystem. I'm gonna try to put up a picture right here of how I imagine them to look. The wolf is on the right side looking at the elk, and the bear is on the left side looking at the elk. And so the name for the bear is The Hunt is Unforgiving. The name for the elk is Nowhere Left to Run, because he's cornered by the bear and the wolf, and then the wolf's name is The Pursuit is Unrelenting. So I really like the way these 3 turned out, and yeah, I'm super proud of them. So I'll stop talking about them now because I'm probably gonna spend way too much time on it. So for day 10, the prompt was flowing. So I drew Tweet and Law from Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is one of my favorite shows growing up. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, one is the moon spirit and one is the ocean spirit, and they are responsible for keeping everything in balance. Obviously yin and yang and all of that goodness. So I really enjoyed drawing them and thought that it would be a beautiful example of flow. Day 11 was cruel, and who is crueler than Scar from The Lion King? He is one of my favorite Disney villains, and he is so cool and so cruel for sure. He's a real jerk. Now day 12 was whale, and I knew everyone was just gonna draw a whale on this one, so I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I put him in a prism and made it look like the water was sloshing around inside, like he's stuck in there in almost like a terrarium kind of way. I think I'd like to rework this in the future. I think the concept was really good, but I feel like I could have executed it better if I had done it at a larger scale. So I think maybe in the future I will do that. Day 13 was guarded, and this character is Elias from a new anime I've been watching called The Ancient Magus' Bride, and he is a very interesting character. I thought that he was a very guarded character. It's hard to explain. You know, you'll just have to watch it for yourself. Oh my gosh, I've been talking for 20 minutes. Holy cow, I'm so sorry, guys. Now, day 14 is one I didn't get to show you guys. Day 14 was clock. And I know this isn't a clock, but this is Prismo from Adventure Time, and he's in his time room. And you know, clocks tell time, so I figured I could probably squeeze by using this for clock. But when I did this one, and the reason this is the only one I do not have a video for, is because my hard drive, my Seagate hard drive that I've had for just a little over a year, crashed and deleted the files for it. So thankfully I got everything else back, but this I didn't get to show you. Now, day 15 is one of my favorites. Day 15, the prompt was weak. And I love Naruto, and we've been watching it for a while, and I thought of, you know, weak little Naruto as a baby, unable to defend himself, but he has the 9 tails inside of him, and he will become something greater than anyone could have expected him to become. Now for day 16, I was really pumped about this one. The prompt was angular, and I ended up drawing my favorite Mech Warrior from Mech Warrior 3, because let's face it, the Mech Warrior 3 mechs are superior in design. Mad Dog, one of my favorite mechs from the game. I had a lot of fun drawing this, and I had a ton of fun making the video as well, because it was just a huge nostalgia trip. I used to play this game a lot as a kid because my dad played it. I thought it was so cool. So yeah, here I am today, and I'm still searching for a way to play Mech Warrior 3. If any of you know, I would like to know, because I need to play it really bad. Now, the prompt for day 17 was swollen, and I could not think of a good one for this. And Roy suggested that I draw Choji from Naruto, and he has this expansion jutsu that makes him blow up really big, and it gets better as he develops it more, but he just looks like a ball. He also kind of makes me think of the girl who turns really blue in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and blows up really big. I can't remember her name or what she eats. I'm not doing really good on my pop culture today. Day 18's prompt was bottle, so guess what I drew? The bottle, but not just any bottle. This is a bottle of Nuka-Cola from Fallout 4, if any of you like or know of that game. It was so hard to draw this, but I really wanted to do it. Glass is such a hard texture to draw, but I think it turned out okay. I think I could have spent some more time on it, but yeah, it's all right. Day 18 was Scorched, so I drew Shoto Todoroki from My Hero Academia. I have very quickly fallen in love with My Hero Academia. I have never gotten so emotionally attached to characters so fast in my entire life. Day 19, the prompt was breakable. And so I drew this character from My Hero Academia. I won't spoil it for any of you who haven't seen it yet and might be interested in it, but anyway, one of my favorite characters. Day 21 is another drawing related to Ancient Magus' Bride. The prompt was Drain, and I drew this Snowbug, which is from one of the episodes. It feeds off of the heat from other living beings, so it will drain the heat from other warm things. So that's how it fits in the drain prompt. Day 22 was expensive, and what's more expensive than traveling? This is where I started playing with the gold ink, and you can kind of see it shimmer here. I love this ink, and the drawing is kind of lackluster for me, but a lot of people liked it, and I'm glad that they did. If you made it this far, thank you. I'd like to apologize for my dog whining in the background. He's upset that I'm not playing with him right now. Oh, you can probably see him now. Ah, there he is, right here. He's so mad at me. I'm sorry. If you've had to hear it, I promise you he's a good boy, but he's just very hyper right now for whatever reason. We're almost done. So the prompt for day 23 was muddy. And I drew this mud puppy. I really like the way that this turned out. The prompt for day 24 was chop. I just thought it would be a cool concept to draw a snake this way. So he is a coral snake. It's a little difficult to tell. If you don't have coral snakes where you're from, coral snakes are red, yellow, and black snakes, and they are very, very venomous. That's why he's chopped up. The prompt for day 25 was prickly, so I drew a little cactus. I think he's really cute. So the prompt for day 26 was stretch, so I drew Jake the dog because he has stretchy powers. And the prompt for day 27 was Thunder. So I drew Loxus. He's from one of our favorite animes called Fairy Tail, and he is actually the reason why we named our dog Loxus. Loxus, paws up. Good boy. So day 28 was gift. So I drew a gift from Pokemon Go. Day 29 was double. So I drew the double Pokemon. Hustle and Minun. I actually don't know if I've ever been saying those right, because I was really young when I played the Pokemon games and I kind of made up my own pronunciations for them. So let me know if I'm not saying it right. Day 30 was Jolt, so I drew another Pokemon, Jolteon, one of the coolest Pokemon around. And finally, day 31, the prompt was Slice. So because it was Halloween, I drew a sliced up pumpkin, or jack-o'-lantern, or whatever you want to call it. I think this turned out really neat. I think it could have turned out better, but I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, I am gonna try to be short about it and say that's it. That's my sketchbook for Inktober, and thank you all for supporting me and for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a comment and a like. I would really appreciate that. It pushes me to make more content, and I really enjoy making content for you all, especially when I know that you like it. So, thank you all for keeping up with me through my Inktober journey, and I look forward to seeing you next time.